What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back. And I do appreciate the support. Guys, I'm going to talk about a story out of Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out. And it's about this guy right here. And this guy right here is every parent's worst nightmare, literally. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you see up here, his name is Laverne Scott, aka the Cookie Monster. That is his nickname. And this guy right here is what they call a LSO. And I'd never heard that term, but just think about it. This guy with that term, with that nickname, with that face and that head, had the nerve on Friday night, I think it was, break into a house where the doors was unlocked, but he came into a house of people he did not know at night, crawled in bed with a 9-year-old boy that he did not know, and boy screamed, and after he did that, he did something else crazy. But you know, there are people, like I said, the devil will come to your house. You ain't, not even safe in your own home no more, and doing all kind of stuff without any type of repercussions after being caught multiple times before, because the justice system don't do nothing. I want you to take a look at this story, and then this little story they did after about this guy, and see how many times he did vile shit but was never put down like the monster that he is. Take a look at this.
Authorities say a registered sex offender was caught in a young child's bedroom. Tonight, his bond was set at more than $1 million. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Shammer.
I'm Quinicia Fraser. This is Laverne Scott. He was arrested on Friday. KETV Newswatch 7's Beth Carlson joins us with the arrest report and the allegations. And
a warning for our viewers, Beth, these are allegations that are tough to hear, right?
Bill, that's right. The victims say this happened in their townhome near 13th and Leavenworth. Scott allegedly came in the middle of the night through an unlocked front door. They say he took his clothes off and went to a 9-year-old boy's bedroom. That's when the boy screamed for his grandfather. Now, according to court documents, the grandfather of that child went in and found the suspect standing at the foot of the bed. He then walked Scott out of the house. He told police he went back inside and found Scott's clothes, but when he went to give them to him, he had taken off. That's when the family called 911. Now later that night, officers got a second call alleging that Scott, while naked, went into a nearby Airbnb. He told people inside it was his own home. Police found Scott wearing only his socks on the corner of 14th and Leavenworth. KETV Investigates looked into Scott's history. He was convicted of first-degree sexual assault in 1987 and attempted sexual assault in 1999. He's a lifetime sex offender. Now that means he's required to check in at the sheriff's office every 3 months. But according to the arresting documents, Scott was sent to jail 4 different times, spending a grand total of 5 years behind bars for not checking in and verifying his sex offender status. Now, today, a judge set his bond at $1.25 million. He was charged with several felonies, including child abuse, burglary, indecent exposure, and violating the sex offender registry. Now, authorities say Scott hasn't checked in on his sex offender status since September of 2025. That was 7 months ago. Now, we reached out to Douglas County to talk about their sex offender registry and how to track people down who don't check it. We expect to hear more from them tomorrow. Back to you.
The Douglas County Sheriff's Office calls for changes after a man allegedly breaks into a home and crawls into a young child's bed. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Cornell.
I'm Quinicia Fraser. Laverne Scott is a registered sex offender in the county. KETV Newswatch 7's Maddie Augustine breaks down the allegations and the call to action in this investigative report. Maddie?
Yeah, Quinicia, Julie, I'm near 14th and Leavenworth, where Omaha police say Laverne Scott was arrested after allegedly breaking into 2 homes in the area early Friday morning. Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen says at the time of that arrest, Scott was not in compliance with the Sex Offender Registry Act, and he says this is far from the first time that he's been arrested for violations or alleged crimes.
He's the classic definition of a repeat offender, of a predator.
Court documents obtained by KETV Investigates show Laverne Scott has previously been convicted of sexual assault in 1987 and again in 1999. He was later placed on the Nebraska Sex Offender Registry as a lifetime offender. Then in 2017, 2018, 2022, and in 2024, court documents show he was convicted for violating registry requirements.
Laverne Scott had been arrested a few times in the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026.
But Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen says Scott failed to check in with the sheriff's office as recently as February of this year.
Obviously, once we had an opportunity to see about his latest arrest and learn of his latest crime, we took that as an opportunity to add additional charges for his recent noncompliance.
According to Hansen, as of April 27th of this year, there were 1,681 registered sex offenders in the county. Roughly 233 of them were considered non-compliant. The sheriff's office has a dedicated investigator to handle those high-risk offenders, but Hansen says it's a huge caseload for one person.
Our investigator often spends anywhere from 8 to 20 hours researching each tip.
Hansen believes the current state law needs to be updated to include enhanced supervision options, especially for those offenders most at risk of reoffending.
Whether that's mandating that they have to wear an ankle monitor at some times when they are showing a history of violating the act or they're falling into a high-risk category.
But Hansen says supervision isn't the only answer. The entire system needs to work together to handle cases like Scott's better.
Laverne Scott, according to my research, had at least 20 times in which he was taken into involuntary custody, aside from his criminal charges, for his behavioral health challenges, his substance abuse challenges, and law enforcement and medical professionals' articulation that he served a risk to himself or the public. That's a problem. That's a huge red flag.
Hansen says looking at Scott's record, several judges have tried a variety of options, including prison time, probation, and jail.
And none of those deterred this guy. Did the sheriff's talking about mental health as well here?
Yeah, Julie, Hansen says this is a complex issue, and he talked at length about that today with me, and we'll continue to follow that systematic issue and shed light on it. For now, though, Hansen says you can help make a difference. You can submit a tip to the sheriff's office about a sex offender or any concerns you may have. That tip line is 402-444-6000. Back to you.
Okay, guys, that's the story of this guy, Laverne Scott. Damn near $1.5 million bond. The Omaha Cookie Monster. Ain't that some shit? Multiple sexual crimes. Not locked up. You know a criminal thinks it's sweet when they walk up in the house or somebody they don't know get butt naked and climb in the bed with a 9-year-old child that's asleep. You think about that. Just come in your house. Gonna lay up with your kids. Don't worry about the parents. They know how to work in silence, move in the shadows, just like the boogeyman. And there you see it in real life. That's his mugshot. You walk around the street looking like that. See, there are a lot of motherfuckers out here. A lot of times you see them in these criminal mugshots that look like people don't care for them. And part of the reason why is they don't care for themselves. And for the longest time, they've showed people that. Not just in motion, in mindset. He is crazy as hell. And he came into the right house where that guy escorted him out naked with socks on. After the child screamed, the grandfather, when everybody in that house should have took turns hitting this motherfucker with a hammer till he got up over the threshold. People are crazy and they're bold. They're confident. They're not scared of you. and they prove it in their ways and actions every day in this country, putting you at risk and your children. And the justice system does nothing. When you think about it, look how wide open it is now, where motherfuckers come get butt naked in your house and crawl into bed with your child, your sleeping child, not worrying about if they'll die or they can hurt a child. They don't think about that. There are some people that got a beeline tunnel vision in doing something for others for their own sick, seditious satisfaction. And that's worth the risk of rolling the dice on their life and the life of somebody else, whether it's they want something from you or they want to do something to you. All these biggest and boldest and brightest minds out here in this country, motherfuckers wearing suits, banging gavels, sitting in leather chairs, judging people and all this other stuff. Nobody figures this out. I'm a regular dude. I sit in a room all day and talk shit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what I say makes sense a lot of times. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm not the only person that sees this. I'm more than sure I'm not. We have real problems out here. And people are turning the other cheek and looking away or looking above it, all the while of saying they see it. This is what makes me think the justice system wants people like this back out. All that stuff he did, lifetime sexual offender, he only did 5 years in prison. That whole time of doing vile stuff to people. Look at him. And this is why the barbarians are no longer at the gate. They're in the village pillaging and raping. Exhibit A right the fuck there. And you know the thing that's crazy is these people that do this, they always encounter people that don't, for the most part, that don't do anything to them. It's no way. And in the comment section, by all means, be honest. Tell me what you would have did if that situation happened to you, where you found a grown man in bed with your child after breaking in your fucking house. And then not only did he do that, he left out and then went to an Airbnb, walked in there naked with socks on, all in my house, looking at your face. Stop it. Stop it. All right. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's a jungle out there, literally nowadays. And I honestly believe because of profit and not really caring is by design. See you in the next video. Take care. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think.